Welcome into the Thunder Basketball Universe presented by COOP Ale Works. If you're a little unfamiliar with our setting here, it's because we are in Summer League right now in Las Vegas. The team just wrapped up practice, and so we had to bring our good friend, Mr. Jalen Williams, to the podcast. Now wrapping up his first season, entering his second season.
Yep.
Thank you for spending some time with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to be here.
You're a vet of Summer League now. You kind of know all the ropes, know how to get around, and what this is like. What's this sort of been like for you in year two?
It's been fun. Coming in last year, I was worried about what's going on. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what the next day looked like. But now I kind of know what every day's type of thing is going to look like. So just going into these games, these practices, just trying to get better.
What does this offseason look like for you? This is your first true NBA offseason. What have you been up to?
Just a lot of work. I've been trying to get my body right. That's the main focus, just getting better, getting stronger for next season, knowing that I'm going to be down there with guys that are bigger, taller, stronger than me. I just got to keep developing my game and my body, and that's been the main focus.
Got a full year of development, a full year of getting to know your teammates too. So we've got some quick hitters here about your teammates that we want to ask you right off the top. Okay. Who of all your teammates, we have our cameras around all the time.
Okay.
Who of your teammates mugs for the camera the most?
Dub. Easy. Easy.
Let's use that for like y'all too when you have your phones out. Like,
Dub. It's easily Dub.
Who has, I feel like I know the answer to this one, but I want to get your opinion. Who has the best social media captions?
Shay.
Yeah,
easy.
That's what we figured.
Okay,
That's what we figured.
So. We thought so. He's very clever with
It's
those.
not even captions anymore. It's rap lyrics.
Yeah.
It's so poetic. It's so good.
Okay, who do you sit next to on the plane?
Who do I sit next to? I sit at a table with Gid, J-Rob, and Chet.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
What do you guys talk about at the table? Or do you all have your headphones on, or is that like the social table?
We talk, we joke. Really, everybody's around us. We all gather around the table. We play music, just play cards sometimes. So we have fun.
Has that been kind of like the set table for you guys? Was that like it all year long?
I sat there the whole year. A couple of the spots changed, of course, but that's really the main group.
All right, next question. If you meet up with the guys to go out to dinner, who's always the first to get there?
Oh, I don't know. It might be me. I might be the first one there.
Mr. Punctual.
Nice.
So I gotta be there
It
on
might
time.
be me.
It's
All
time
right,
to
who's
eat.
last? Who's always last?
It's got to be one of the vets. It might be Shay or Lou walking in there, but can't say nothing. Yeah.
Rolling on Shea time.
Okay, whose hotel room do you think is the messiest right now?
I don't know. I feel like our team's clean.
Okay.
I
Whose
don't-
locker is usually the messiest?
Nobody.
Everybody's
clean.
Wow.
I'm not
Wow.
even- No,
For
we got
such a
clean
young team, that's very impressive.
Like there's never stuff laying on the ground. I feel like it's clean.
Man,
Very
those
responsible
OKC
group.
habits. I tell you what, it's not just on the basketball court.
That is so impressive. All right, last one. We know you guys all have dogs. We know that you guys hang out with your dogs. Who's got the best dog name?
Me.
Oh,
Mine.
okay. What's your dog's name?
Zeus.
What kind of
great
dog
one.
is it?
He's a Rottweiler. He's still a puppy. Well, he's 9 months old and
Yeah.
he's 92 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, he's getting
It's a very
big.
appropriate name for that dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Very
getting big.
appropriate
He's
name.
getting really big.
That's great.
What do you do? Like, how do you play with a dog that big? You all wrestle? Do you like, or is he too
No, he's
big
part
to
of the
wrestle?
off-season workout.
Yeah,
It's got a box
exactly.
on
Well,
the dog.
he doesn't realize how big he is, so he'll like sit on my lap
Yeah.
and try to get in my I still pick him up every now and then, but he'll roll around 2 tennis balls and kick him with his feet, and then of course take him on a walk. But I love him. I love our dog.
You can tell Kevin Hyde. Sorry, I don't need to go to the weight room today. I'm just gonna
Pick up
lift up
Zeus.
Zeus a few times. We'll be good. Yeah.
Well, we know that obviously you had some time in the summer league last year, which that was our first chance to see you guys like J-Dub, obviously, and Ooze was there as well. How interesting is it to now be in summer league and see the growth from those guys last year to now?
Yeah, we came into this thing together, and just growing with those guys has been great. Nobody has a big ego. We all want to see each other succeed, and then having Chet back on the court with us has been great as well. And just seeing him back out there, happy to be playing basketball, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, I want to ask you about Chet because last year when you were on the floor, for the most part, you were the lone big out there. What's it been like playing side by side with another big here in summer league? What are kind of some of the positives that you all can get to that you might not be able to otherwise?
Yeah, it's honestly great knowing that there's somebody going to be at the rim at all times to protect it. And I'm sure there's a lot of plays where you see me, there's a guy driving, and I just look down there and there's Chet. And I just know that he's going to go erase it. But it's great sharing the court with him. He's great on defense, and he's just as good on offense. And it's great to have him out there.
It's been so cool to just see him fit in, particularly, I mean, definitely defensively, the way that he can impact things, but like the ball movement that y'all had yesterday against Dallas, 18 3-pointers that you made, and the ball just zipped around. It seems like he just kind of fits in with what you want to do offensively seamlessly.
Yeah, for sure. That was one of the things me and him were talking a lot when we were in Utah, and I was just telling him, like, just let it come to you. Just just go in there and play your game. With the offense we run, the way we play basketball, the ball's going to come to you, and you're going to get your shots, and you're going to be in the game. And I just told him just let it come to him, and that's what he's been doing. He's been doing great.
It's interesting to hear you talk about the relief seeing him at the rim, knowing that he's going to block a shot, because I'm sure a lot of your teammates feel that way about you, knowing that, oh, Jay Will's down there, he's going to take a charge for me if my guy gets past me. All right, last thing for you. You guys have played 4 games now in Summer League. Just how encouraged are you by the cohesion of this team so far and how you guys are playing?
Yeah, it's a great feeling. Everybody on the team we're all great people. We have great chemistry. We're joking around the locker room, joking around the bench. When somebody's hitting a 3, everybody's on the sideline standing up celebrating. Regardless what it is, everybody's happy to see each other succeed. And this group, this team I feel like we're a great team and we can win a couple games.
I had one last one. We talked to Cam Woods earlier, Thunder's Summer League coach. And he just talked about your consistency being much more there now than it was maybe a year ago. What do you attribute that to, and do you kind of feel that? You feel more consistency in your game?
Yeah, just going through a year of playing up here, bouncing back and forth between the G and the league, and then watching film with all the coaches, just knowing what I have to do out there on the court. Every game, I got to go out there and play hard. I got to go do those little things. I got to get rebounds, set screens. I got to find the open shots and do those things like that. And now that I'm comfortable in doing that, I feel like I can do it more often.
Well, it's been really fun watching the growth that you've made now coming into your second season. It's crazy to think that you're in your second season now. Does it feel weird now?
No, I feel like I just got here. Yeah. I feel like I just got here.
Well, it's been great to watch you grow. We can't wait to see you out there on the floor again.
Yeah,
awesome. Thanks so much for your time, Jay Will.
Thanks, Jay Will.
We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
COOP Ale Works is the proud sponsor of Thunder Basketball Universe. Brewers of the fan favorites F5 IPA and 99-calorie Ice Chest IPA. You'll find those and many more COOP beers at retailers across Oklahoma. Learn more at CoopAleWorks.com.
It is always so good seeing that smiling face of Jay Will. I feel like I haven't seen his face in a long time. Nick, I feel like I also haven't seen your face in a long time. This is actually the first time I'm seeing Nick. We're recording this on July 9th. This is the first time I'm seeing Nick in actually like a long time.
Since the draft.
Yes, so correct.
Doesn't the draft feel like forever ago?
Exactly, yes. And so a lot has been happening. Obviously, Nick held down the first half of Summer League, so I got to toss it to you. What was that experience like in Salt Lake City?
Well, first of all, it was super fun to call the games on the radio with Royce Young. So if you got to tune into those on the Sports Animal and the Thunder Radio Network, thank you. That was awesome. Really cool to be able to share what's going on with. I mean, there was so much excitement happening on the floor with the returning guys. Obviously, Chet getting onto the floor for the first time since last year. So 11 months of hard work for him getting to kind of come to fruition a little bit. He just talked about how grateful he is to be able to play and all the support that he's gotten from the organization. But the Thunder went 2-1 in Salt Lake City, won the first game here in Las Vegas as well. So team's been playing really well, and just what stood out is the competitiveness level and some of the ways that this team's been able to set a defensive tone that like you just don't really see at Summer League very often. It feels like an actual team. And to be honest, I mean, there's 8 guys who could potentially be on the Thunder roster next year that are all playing on the Summer League team.
Right.
That's kind of unheard of.
A lot of familiar faces on this team. Guys like Trey Mann, of course, Ousmane Dieng, Jay Will, J Dub. All of those guys have gotten minutes on the floor. We got to talk about the rookies, though. The newcomers in Kaysen and Keontae. What did you see from them in their debut in Las Vegas?
Well, those guys were both also itching to get out there and play. Kaysen couldn't officially play until his contract was signed. Keontae was dealing with like a little bit of a hamstring. But both those guys got onto the floor against Dallas on Saturday. Kaysen couldn't miss from 3.
It was unbelievable from my view sitting at home watching it on the TV screen. It was really cool to see.
But the play that actually stood out to me about Kaysen was the very first play of the entire game, and it was on defense. He fought through a screen, got back in front of his man, and forced his guy to turn the ball over on the very first possession. And it was just such a great example of kind of that bulldog mentality that he has defensively to just get to the spot, be in the right place. And if you're going to combine that with an ability to knock down, catch and shoot threes, like we saw, he had 6 of them in that game. This is a guy that can be a big factor on this team, particularly the way that it's oriented and the way that this team wants to play.
It just the competitiveness is the thing that pops out the most when you watch these 4 games. You see these guys just getting after it, possession after possession, get knocked down, get back up, try to bruise again. Like you can kind of feel that with every play out there on the floor. Yeah,
and Keontae, who signed a 2-way contract with the team, he was really able to display that athleticism. We saw that baseline backdoor alley-oop slam that was just ferocious and very exciting to see that level of athleticism on the floor.
Yeah, so the Thunder has played 4 games already, only 1 here in Las Vegas, and there are 3 more left on the schedule, but of course they will play at least 4 more here. Yeah. So a lot to look forward to. We've already seen a lot of growth from these guys just in a 4-game span, really.
Yeah, it's cool to see, especially a guy like Ousmane Dieng, I think, really demonstrated the way that a player who's 20 years old can have a growth arc in the matter of like 6 days. Because that first game in Salt Lake City, he didn't play the way that he wanted to and was just didn't quite have like the same level of force that we've seen from him over the next few games. And it just is a great reminder of how young these guys are. And when you have young players, they can grow quickly and they can be a different player from one day to the next. And of course, as we talked about with J-Will, the ideal is to get it consistent that you're the same player every day.
Right. And that comes with time. That comes with reps. And that's exactly what these guys are getting. I just love the fact that they all love being here. Nobody's seeing Summer League as like, oh, I have to go play Summer League, or like I've been relegated to play on the Summer League team. They're like, no, these guys like want to be out there and competing. It's really cool to see for these guys.
Yeah, for sure. And you think about a guy like J-Dub, who most certainly after coming in second in Rookie of the Year, like didn't have to be here. He was incredible. I think he had 22 points in 23 minutes or something like that in that first game. J-Will, who we talked to, obviously he started a ton of games last year, but he knows that this is a crucial way for him to continue to improve himself and better his game. And I think Tre Mann, just carrying over from what we saw from him last year, going to play for the OKC Blue, and the fact that I think he scored 75 points in 70 minutes or something like that with the OKC Blue. Well, he comes to Summer League and he's just the same type of dominant. And that's what you want to see from a guy heading into his 3rd year.
Definitely. So Nick was holding it down for us in Salt Lake City. The reason I was not there was because I was just getting off of a 15-hour flight coming from Australia.
Now, why were you in Australia, Paris?
We have a guy on our team. I don't know.
Oh, great. Yeah.
His name's Josh Giddey. Yeah. Well, a lot of players on our team throughout the offseason will, have camps back in their hometowns. Yeah. Josh Giddey is one of them. It just so happens that his hometown is on the other side of the world in an opposite hemisphere. And so the content team, me and a videographer, photographer, had a great chance to go over there and see Josh in his element, just surrounded by fellow Aussies. And the craziest thing, Nick, they had 3 camps in 3 days in 3 different cities, kind of right outside of Melbourne. The craziest thing was seeing the amount of Josh Giddey jerseys walking into the arena. And mind you, we are on the opposite hemisphere, and these kids are breaking up huddles yelling OKC on 3. And I just couldn't think of it. It was just wild to think about how far this reach is. Just not just Oklahoma City, but just the NBA reach as a whole. It's incredible to see that up close and in person.
So you're saying Josh is training the next generation of Thunder players. So I mean, these guys in the 2036 draft, you better get ready.
I mean, we joke, but essentially when you think of the path that Josh took to get to the NBA, he was a very, obviously, number 6 overall pick out of Australia, the first lottery pick from the NBA Academy. And so he kind of charted a path for a lot of Australian, aspiring NBA players to have a blueprint to follow. So a lot of kids are looking up to Josh Giddey over in Melbourne.
Yeah, I mean, even a guy like Ousmane Dieng said that he watched Josh play and was inspired by that, and it was part of the reason why, going to the NBL is what made sense for him to play over there before he came to the Thunder as well. So it's really inspiring to see the way that these guys impact their communities, and of course they impact the OKC community as well when they're in town, but that they're not just on vacation the entire summer. They're doing things to try to help others.
And the beauty of it too is we hear about, the Thunder culture and like being a good teammate, making sure that you're, willing to do the dirty work on the floor. that's just that Josh has that in him already. And he was teaching the kids that at the camp. Like Josh was in the mix with these kids, talking to them, teaching them dribbling skills, but also stood up in front of them and was like, hey, you don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the tallest, but you do have to be a good teammate and you do have to be willing to, make the right play for the team. And so it was really cool to hear him kind of pass along that message to these kids too. And they were picking up on it.
I know that we're going to have, content coming down the line out of that trip. There's so much that you all got. It can take us a little bit to digest it all and get it back out to you. But Paris, I really thought you were going to come back with an Australian accent.
I'm sorry, mate. I couldn't. I wanted to, but I just couldn't nail it down. And I was like, you know what? It's better to just leave that to the Aussies.
So Paris left the morning or the day after the NBA draft.
Yes.
And so there was so much NBA stuff that happened while you were gone.
Let me tell you about this too, because the time change is so wild when you're in Australia. You're 15 hours removed from Oklahoma City time. And so I would go to bed, but I would wake up and my phone would have like a million notifications on it. And a bunch of them are press releases and emails and tweets. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I must have missed so much stuff.
Yeah, we do have some things to run down for you since the draft. Obviously, Cason Wallace and Keontae Johnson were drafted by the Thunder. Keontae on the two-way contract. Cason finally able to put on that Thunder jersey after the trade where the Thunder traded up to number 10. Also acquired Davis Bertans in that trade, so that was something that had to wait until the free agency moratorium was over to officially be official. And then it was also announced that the Thunder traded for Victor Oladipo along with some second-round picks. So, I mean, just continuing to see this Thunder organization use cap space in creative ways to bring in, players, obviously a guy like Victor, who is beloved here in Oklahoma City when he played here before, but also bring in additional assets.
Right.
And so there's some other moves and things that have not been officially released yet, so we can't quite talk about those things yet. But that's sort of the mindset of the organization is like, this is the young core.
Yes. How
How can we tack on assets down the line? And if you notice, some of those second round picks are coming way down the line. 4 or 5 years from now, 6, 7 years from now. That's kind of the strategy here is how can we continue to build assets down the line so that we can maximize this young core.
And if you look at how the Thunder has kind of utilized their assets in the past, specifically those last 3 seasons, you can be very encouraged by what you see down the line and how OKC is working in the current. Because if you see what we have out there on the floor in Summer League, you can be pretty encouraged by what's coming in the future. This team is shaping up very, very nicely, and the group that they have there on the floor is really, really encouraging to see.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing that this stretch of time that you are in your time warp and we've been here in Summer League is just telling us, like, we don't know what the record's going to be, but there's a lot to be excited about to come see these guys play this upcoming season. So I'm really looking forward to October.
Looking forward to October, but you should also be looking forward to what's on tap for the rest of the week while we're here in Las Vegas. We're going to run down the schedule for you just so you have all of this on your calendar. The Thunder has 3 games on the calendar remaining here. Tuesday, they will play against Houston. Wednesday, they'll play against the Pacers. And then on Friday, they will play against the Wizards. So mark your calendar for those. Be sure to tune in. And of course, come back to OKCThunder.com for all the post-game coverage and at OKC Thunder on all social channels to keep up with all that live in-game content. We've got an awesome content team that is working really, really hard to get you all of that content in real time. So be sure to check that out. Until then, thank you so much for watching and listening. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much to our producer, and thank you so much to Jay Will for joining us today. And until next time, Thunder up, and catch you later.